Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I'm going to do the February the 12th Spiritual Principle Day in a meditation. Hope you're doing well this morning. The title of the meditation for today, Surrender in Tradition 1. Surrender to the first tradition brings us to understand that we are part of something much greater than ourselves. That comes from the Guiding Principles book, Tradition 1, Spiritual Principles. When we heard the 12 traditions read aloud the first several times, maybe even the first 1,000 times, the first tradition sounded like some sort of recovery jargon to our newcomer ears. Am I supposed to put NA's common welfare ahead of my own? Really? To many of us, common welfare was a new concept because we consistently been self-assessed in our disease. We hadn't thought of ourselves as a part of any whole, and that was fine with us. During our first days clean, the NA's Fellowship Collective Whole wasn't something we imagined being a part of or even caring about. In time, we began to surrender to the truth that we need each other to stay clean. We got a glimpse of the reciprocal relationship between personal recovery and NA unity. We realized that we're part of a worldwide fellowship made up of tens of thousands of groups with literature available in scores of languages. Wow, all I wanted to do was quit using drugs. I can't, but we can underpins the first tradition. As our recovery deepens, our capacity to surrender to the principle of unity evolves and becomes more fluid. Surrendering rather to the needs of the group takes precedence over our desire to get our way at whatever cost. Many of us will struggle with the idea of a God working in our lives can surrender to the idea that the power of the group supports us. We begin to understand how our investment in something greater than ourselves through service improves our own lives and increases our feelings of self-worth. And something as basic as seeing a key tag with its clean and serene message etched in an unfamiliar language becomes awe-inspiring to us. As I continue to surrender in my recovery, I will take a moment to embrace the uncomplicated idea that I'm a part of NA, just as NA is a part of me. I'll say a prayer for an addict who lives thousands of miles from me as a way to honor and practice tradition 1. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the reversion of serenity prayer. Moment of silence, then please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. Surrender in tradition 1. Interesting topic. Trying to remember what I actually felt the first time I heard tradition 1. It made me nervous. If I'm recalling properly, it was during the time that I was very fed up with Greek religion. I didn't mind talking about God if I was doing the talking, but I didn't want anyone talking to me about their God. So I was very intolerant and very angry the first time I heard tradition 1. And when I thought about our common welfare must come first, right? I didn't like that. I didn't think that it was necessary for me to agree with that. And that kind of kept me, I believe, separated from my Narcotics Anonymous for a bit because I was so fearful and so worried that this concept of common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends on NA unity. That made it too personal to me. I didn't want to have NA unity be the foundation of my personal recovery. I had so many ideas about what organized religion looked like that this kind of sounded like that to me. And I was nervous to even say, yeah, I'm a part of this. I was nervous because of that reason. But then I began to understand something. And this is what I want you to hear from me today. I began to understand that the greater whole, this whole fellowship that I was benefiting from, whether it was just having a place to go to have a meeting, whether it was, listening to the literature being read, whether it was a relationship with a sponsor and sponsee sisters, whether it was, I love conventions back then, going to a convention and seeing a celebration of recovery in a sense. Oh, you know what? I was going to tell you, I remember the first time I saw the key tags in Hebrew. And when I saw those key tags in the Hebrew language, because I don't know, I'm just kind of interested in Hebrew and Israel, right? So when I first saw that, I was stunned. I was stunned, right? So when I realized that I was benefiting from NA and its unity within the fellowship, I began to realize, what if this had not taken place? What if the establishment of NA had not happened? Where would I be with my disease of addiction? Would I even know what spiritual principles were? I'm sure I would know love, faith. I would know some of the ones that are taught in religious settings. I would know those, right? But would I truly, honestly be able to stay clean without the help of what Narcotics Anonymous brought to life? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I really don't. When I think about it, sit with this and really think about it, my personal recovery was dependent on NA unity long before, it was already set in motion long before I actually could embrace it. And I think that's the beauty of this program. I don't need to understand everything for it to work. Yeah, so I want you to be thinking about that. How has the unity of this fellowship benefited you? And how has the common welfare, right? The common benefit, the common interest of keeping their hearts anonymous, active and available to people that suffer from the disease of addiction. How has that helped you? What would you do if you didn't have a place to make meetings? And I want to tell some of you that are listening, I know you know all about the Zoom platform, but those are NA meetings being held on Zoom. And I want to say that it is a respected platform, where even doctors and offices, professional offices are able to use it and maintain the HIPAA policy, right? So it's very protective. And if you're worried about making meetings on that platform, I just want to say that you can't predict when your rules are going to change. And it's very helpful to have meetings that are listed down below. Some of them are actually 24/7 meetings that you can attend at any time of the day. If you have a phone, download the Zoom app, and you can attend meetings on your bus ride or your ride to work or when you're working out. Right now, because of the pandemic, we have access to meetings at all times of the day from all over the world. I hope that you are going to surrender in your recovery today and take a moment to embrace the uncomplicated idea that you are a part of NA and that NA is part of you. And that we have a very, very, very broad base. And because of that, we have higher points of freedom And I wouldn't change that for the world. And I hope you wouldn't either. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you, and I will be talking to you tomorrow.